As part of the BNP's election pledge, a program to provide honorariums and festival allowances to khatibs, imams, muezzins and other religious leaders across the country will begin tomorrow. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman will inaugurate the program. In the initial phase, 10,000 taka will be provided for the imams, muezzins and khadims of each of around 5,000 mosques. Meanwhile, 8,000 taka will be given to the priests and caretakers of about 1,000 temples, and the same amount will also be allocated for each Buddhist monastery and church. Prime Minister's advisor for public administration, Muhammad Ismail Zabiullah, informed that imams, muezzins and khadims will receive 1,000 taka each during Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha as festival allowance every year, while priests, shibayats, head monks, assistant monks, church priests and assistant priests will receive 2,000 taka each during Durga Puja, Buddha Purnima and Christmas. Around 28 crore taka will be required in the current fiscal year to implement the program, he added. Newly elected Speaker, retired Major Hafizuddin Ahmed Birbikram, has called on all political parties to work unitedly to ensure that fascism can never rise again in the country. He made the remarks this morning while speaking to journalists after paying tribute to the martyrs at the National Mausoleum in Savar. The Speaker said it is a matter of great pride in his life that he was able to take part in the Liberation War. He added that the 13th Jatiya Sanshad will be conducted by the spirit of the Liberation War, mentioning that the mafia government was removed through the movement of students and the people. Hafizuddin Ahmed said all political parties must work together to protect democracy in the country. Earlier, Speaker Hafizuddin Ahmed and Deputy Speaker Barrister Kaiser Kamal paid homage to the martyrs at the National Mausoleum in Savar. After placing wreaths, they stood in silence for a while in remembrance of the martyrs. The Speaker and the Deputy Speaker later signed the visitors' book at the memorial. Later in the day, they also placed wreaths at the graves of Shahid President Zia Rahman and former Prime Minister Begum Khalida Zia at Ziauddin in the capital. Information and Broadcasting Minister Jahiruddin Shapon has called on the media to play an important role in ensuring a culture of accountability at all levels of society and the state. He made the call today at a program in Bogura where financial assistance was distributed to journalists and scholarship checks were given to the meritorious children of journalist families from 7 districts of the Rajshahi division. The event was organized by the Bangladesh Journalists Welfare Trust. Others present at the event included the Prime Minister's Additional Press Secretary, Atikur Rahman Ruman, and Managing Director of the Journalists Welfare Trust, Bashir Jamal. The minister also said that the government will move forward with a plan initiated by former Prime Minister Khalida Zia to establish a Center of Bangladesh Television in Bogura. Jahiruddin Shapon added that the government's people-oriented initiatives at the beginning of its journey indicate the direction of its public-focused role throughout its tenure. Eid al-Fitr, the most important religious festival of the Muslims, is only a few days away. The traditional scenario of returning home has started to be visible today. However, this time, the scenario is a little bit different as there is no hassle for tickets. No overcrowding or the old stereo of sufferings is seen at the railway station. The endless joy was reflected in the faces of the homegoers in this Eid journey through trains. This year's Eid journey has come under mentionable discipline as rail tickets were sold 100% online. No passenger is being allowed to enter the platform without tickets. People heading home are also happy as the trains are leaving on time. Railway sources said a special monitoring cell is working to prevent schedule disruptions, giving the highest priority to the safety of passengers. The same scenario has also been seen at the bus stations of the port city of Chattogram. Passengers expressed satisfaction, saying the Eid journey has become more comfortable due to various security measures and renovation of the roads. Now, international news. Iran's Supreme Leader Mustafa Khamenei issues first statement since replacing assassinated father Ali Khamenei, calling for bases hosting U.S. forces in region to close or attacks will continue. Israel's military announced start of new extensive wave of strikes on Iran's capital Tehran as Israel issued forced evacuation orders amid new attacks on Lebanon's capital Beirut. UN Refugee Agency says some 3.2 million people have been displaced in Iran due to U.S.-Israeli attacks since launch of war on February 28. Waves of Iranian drones and missiles continue to target Gulf countries and beyond, with Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates reporting attacks. As conflict enters 14th day, U.S. President Donald Trump says during White House event, war in Iran that's coming along very well. Iran's retaliatory attacks targeting Israel and U.S. bases in the Middle East have reached their 14th day. Neither side has clearly stated how long the war will continue or given any specific time frame. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that the objectives of the attack on Iran have been achieved and that it is now time to end the war. However, Iran has put forward at least 3 conditions for stopping the war. After the 12-day war with Israel last June, Iran appears to have been conducting much more precise missile attacks. Following the attacks by the United States and Israel that began on February 28 and after several of Iran's top leaders were killed, Iran launched retaliatory strikes, firing hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones at Israeli targets and U.S. military installations located in the Gulf region. Although Israel and Gulf countries intercepted many of these missiles, some penetrated their defense systems, causing significant damage and casualties. In the context of the ongoing war with Iran, the U.S. military is currently not prepared to provide security for oil tankers traveling through the strategically important Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright acknowledged this on Thursday. The United States will temporarily allow the sale of Russian oil already at sea, the Treasury Department said on Thursday, as energy prices surged after U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran triggered war in the Middle East. The license permits cargoes loaded by March 12th to be delivered and sold until April 11th. The United States is temporarily allowing the sale of Russian oil that is at sea, the Treasury Department said Thursday, as energy prices soared after U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran plunged the Middle East into war. The move marked a momentary easing of economic sanctions against Russia, which has been targeted over its invasion of Ukraine. On Thursday, the Treasury issued a license authorizing the delivery and sale of Russian crude oil and petroleum products that have been loaded on vessels on or before 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, March 12th, through 12:01 a.m. on April 11th. The move came after Washington last week temporarily allowed Russian oil that was stranded at sea to be sold to India. A political party led by a rapper-turned-politician has won a sweeping parliamentary majority in Nepal. Official results show capping one of the most dramatic elections in the country's recent history. The Rashtriya Swatantra Party of Balendra Shah, a 35-year-old former civil engineer and hip-hop artist known simply as Balan, secured 182 seats in the 275-member lower house of parliament. The Election Commission said on Thursday, with 125 won directly and a further 57 through proportional representation. The Nepali Congress Party finished in second place with 38 seats. The Marxist Party of veteran four-time Prime Minister Kharga Prasad Sharma Oli, whose government was ousted in a youth-led uprising last year, won just 25 seats. Back to national news. A discussion meeting was organized at the initiative of the A.R. Rahman Foundation to commemorate the martyrdom of Amirul Mominin Imamul Mutakin Sayyidina Ali ibn Abu Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu at Chattogram Academy Hall on Wednesday. Sayyid Misbahur Rahman Maizbhandari presided over, while Sayyid Ghulam Murshid Maizbhandari was present as the chief guest on the occasion. The main discussant was Ahlul Bayat researcher and mystic artist Shahjahan Ali Khan. He said the tragic martyrdom of Amirul Mu'minin Maula Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu on 21st Ramadan of 661 AD, 40 Hijri, is a black chapter in the history of the Muslim Ummah. The martyrdom of Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is a shining example of truth, justice and self-sacrifice, which has inspired the Muslim Ummah to rise up against injustice and falsehood throughout the ages.